All right, we are going to be painting this really pretty spring tree. We're going to be starting with the background first. I'm going to use my bigger paintbrush, and I'm going to be using, for the background, I'm going to use a little bit of yellow, some of this nice turquoisey color, and the white. I'm going to mostly be using white, so I'm going to start with that. And I'm just going to put some vertical streaks in the middle of the canvas, and then I'm going to add some of that green color. And I'm just going up and down with my brush. We kind of want this background to look kind of streaky. I'm going to keep building off of what we have with white. I don't want to clean my brush off or wipe it because we want all these colors to kind of blend together. So right now we're just going in with white and that turquoise color, and I'm working with small sections at a time. Like I'm staying right in this area right now because I want the colors to blend while they're still wet, because it makes it a lot easier. All right, so I have a pretty good chunk done. I'm going to put right next to that, I'm going to do another streak of white right here. And it might have a little of the green on your brush still, so it's okay. But now I'm going to add just a little bit of yellow to that white, because I do want a hint of yellow in here. And then I'm going to go back to white and keep blending. I'm still going up and down. Do you see how many times my brush is going up and down? And there is still some of that green color in there, so it's kind of shining through with the white, which is perfect. You really don't need a lot of yellow for this one, so just keep adding white. We kind of want the yellow to look, oh, I don't know, like a sunrise or something, so it's very faint. Once I have some white, I'm going to keep going with blue, or whatever this color is. Most of the background's going to get covered up by the tree, but that's okay because we want it to shine through, make an appearance. I do want to add another spot of yellow. Right now I'm just kind of filling in spots of blue and white streaks. I'm going to do right down here some more yellow. Remember, not too much, and then I'm quickly adding white to it so that it blends in nicely. All right, it looks like my canvas is done for now. I'm going to dry it off. So next, if you look at mine, we're gonna paint this nice silhouette of a tree. I'm gonna be using black and then just a little bit of white, and I'm gonna use my medium-sized paintbrush. All right, so first we're gonna put our tree kind of on the side of the canvas. If you want yours directly in the middle, that's fine too. I think I had this one on the side because it takes two paintings, so there was another one next to it. But anyway, we are gonna start about in the middle. I'm gonna just draw a trunk of a tree. So I'm gonna put one line there. You want it to get wider down here, right? And then when you come up towards the middle of the canvas here, when you need it to start branching off, I'm gonna pick one side. I'll start with the left actually. I'm just gonna kind of draw a nice line going up and out. It doesn't need to go off the canvas. I left a little bit of space there because most of this is going to get covered up by the leaves of the tree. But anyway, I'm going to come back down. We're making like an arm of the tree. I'm going to stop right there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, up and out. And remember, this is a tree, so it doesn't need to be perfect. My lines are a little crooked, and that kind of makes it look more like a tree. Let's see, over here, because I went off the canvas for this one just because my tree is over on the side. So I'm going to come back down towards the middle, and then we are going to put a branch right in the middle, and this one is going off the canvas, and it's kind of bendy, and that's okay. I also wanted to point out that this original painting I did, it had kind of a funky bottom of the tree. It kind of looks like a person. So this one I made a little straighter. But anyway, you're just going to fill this in with black right now. We're covering up our beautiful background, but that's okay. It'll be worth it in the end. And once this is all filled in, without drying it, I'm going to use my little brush and some white paint. I just want to make it look like some texture of a tree, some bark, I guess. So while the paint is still wet, I'm just going to put some lines right on top of the black to make it look like tree bark. And to do that, they're not perfectly straight lines. Some of them are going to kind of come off of one another. So say I put this straight, let's say I do this one right here. It's not totally straight. And then I'm going to kind of build off of it, make one line go off on its own. When you get up here towards the branches, we're going to keep doing this, but you want to go the same way that the branch is going. So right here, they kind of turn a little bit. And then we'll do this one. And you want different sizes. You don't need a ton of paint on your brush because you don't want these to stand out too much. You kind of want it to blend in with the tree, look more natural. Okay. I think I have enough. And now while I'm using the black, I'm going to take my medium brush again, and we're going to put some grass at the bottom. So if you look at this, the grass is kind of in front of the tree. And what I like to do is I start at the bottom of the canvas and just make lines that go up. I'm kind of, yes, I'm going up, but I don't want them all to be straight up and down, these blades of grass. So some are kind of curved, maybe I'm overlapping, or a few are coming in front of the others. And when you're coming from the from the bottom, when you're kind of moving up with your wrist, it's kind of leaving these nice little, I don't know what I would call those actually. They're just these nice uneven grass blades. And you do want to fill in, like the bottom part is all black. But then when you get to the top of your blades of grass, it's okay that there's some space in there, because that'll make it look more like grass. I'm going to do the same thing right in front of the tree. You might not be able to see the tops of the grass, but that's okay. It's important just to keep doing the same thing you're doing so that you stay in a rhythm, and then on the sides it still looks just like the other grasses. It'll be more consistent like that. And you're going to go all the way across the canvas like that. And then we're going to dry this off. Okay, let's work on, we're going to save this for last. So right now we're going to work on the tree, or not the tree, the leaves of the willow tree. So I'm going to be using pink, white, and this light blue. Oh, and do you see how, all right, so we're going to start at the top. So it's going off of the canvas, but then as they droop down like a willow tree does, they are getting skinnier. So it kind of starts off in this big mass up here, and then it comes down and gets skinnier. I also wanted to point out that the leaves in the background are a little darker. So we're going to start with more blue than pink right now. And that is just to make the illusion that those darker branches are in the background, and these lighter ones are in front. So we're going to take, I'm going to take kind of a small brush here and make sure that the black is all really dry. Otherwise it'll mix with those pretty colors and ruin it. So I'm going to go with this light blue color on my palette or my tray. And first I'm just going to kind of do a nice outline of where I want my branches to be falling. So over here it's kind of easy right now, but I'm going to start at the top of the canvas and kind of to the left of this last branch. And I'm going to be dabbing up and down to make this look more like flowers or leaves. So up, down. There's no perfect line that you need to stay in because you want it to look messy like leaves or random, I guess. But right now I'm just going to kind of do a nice little outline of where I want the edge of my tree to be. It's not a perfectly straight line. And then when you get to about halfway down, we're going to start going back up. And remember that this part should be skinny. And as I move up, I'm making this wider. And this one is going to be in the background, so I'm mostly going to be using blue. But I'm going to start throwing in some pinks. And I'm still dabbing. And this just gives it some more texture. The pink and blue are going to mix and make a nice purple color. So anywhere, and again, I'm not wiping my brush off or anything because you want the colors to blend. You don't need water. All right, once you have that, we're going to do a few more spots that are kind of going to be in the background. So I'm going to make up where I want them. So I'm just going to do, let's start right here. I'm still dabbing. I'm drawing this nice line down, and then wherever I want it to end. Because you don't want all these little droopies to stop at the same spot. We want them to stagger, be different sizes and lengths. And then when you come back up, you want it to get wider. Fill it in, throw a little pink in there. And I'm gonna put one more. So right now we're just kind of making these nice droopies. We're building the tree. And yours can look different than mine. It does not need to be exactly the same. I do want these blue ones to look like they are behind the tree branches. So I don't want to get any blue on the black of the tree. I'm going to keep these in the distance, I guess. And we might have to go back later and fix this up, but that's okay. I'm going to put a few more blue ones on this side. Again, I'm going to stay behind the tree branch. Throw a little pink in there. You don't need too much because we want these to look darker. I'm going to do one more blue over to the side. Needs a little pink. All right, I'm gonna wipe off my brush, but I'm not gonna use water because we are gonna be doing the rest of the leaves using a lot of white and pink. So I'm gonna go back up here towards the top, and I'm still dabbing. Right now I have pink and white on my brush. But you can kind of go back and forth. Since the colors are wet right now, they're gonna blend nicely. And see how I'm going right over the blue that I've already done? I'm dabbing right on top of the blue. I'm dabbing right on top of this branch that we put in. And you're mostly going to want white, unless you want a super pink saturated tree. That's cool too. All right, so I'm starting to come down here and I'm starting to break off from this mass here. And trying to decide where I want to stop this branch from going down. I'm going to come down because we are working in the foreground now. So we want these ones to look like they're closer to us. So they should also be bigger. So that means I'm going to make this branch come down a little more. And that doesn't mean every single branch needs to be longer than the blue ones, but for now that's what I'm going to work on. Then we're going to come back up. We're still dabbing. It's getting wider as you go up. Might need to go get more white paint soon. Over in this area, I'm going to, and you know what, we're going to end up covering up a lot of this tree branch, but that's okay. And as you're dabbing, if you do not get every single spot, like you can see some of the black showing through there, that's actually better because it makes it look more realistic. You'd be able to see through a tree usually. Or if you can see some of the sky behind there, that's totally fine. This is a lot of dabbing, so bear with me. This whole top part is pretty much going to be filled in. I am going to go grab some white paint though here in a minute. Be right back. Alright, right now I'm going to come back to this area and I'm going to put another little droopy droop, whatever that is, because we do need to cover up this space. So again, I'm going over top of the blue a little bit. Just want to overlap it. Don't want to get rid of all of it because we did work hard on those. But some of it's got to be covered. And I'm just going to put whatever hanging down I think looks right. So right in front of here. We are covering a lot of this tree branch, but that's okay. So right in this area, I do want some of my sky to show through still. So I'm kind of curving this, and then I am gonna have one of our branches hanging down right in front of the tree. Come back up. I'm gonna leave a little bit of space over here. This is all gonna get filled in, and then I'm gonna kind of move, working my way over to this side of the canvas. If some of the sky shows through, that's okay. It looks like real leaves or flowers on a tree. We're still dabbing. This whole top part's going to be covered with the tree. Oh yeah, and you know what? If you're at home and this is pretty much ruining this paintbrush, the dabbing. I have brushes that I don't care if they get ruined because, I don't know, I guess I keep them around for this purpose. But if you're at home and you don't want to be doing this to your paintbrushes, you can also use Q-tips right now. And that works pretty well too for the dabbing. I probably should have said that a lot earlier, huh? But it's never too late. All right, so now this part's up here, looks pretty good. I just need to put a few more of my hanging branches. I don't want to cover up too much of the sky though. So I'm gonna kind of Hi Luna. Hi baby. Good girl. My doggy came to visit. Hi baby. So we're going right over in between the blue ones. Remember, you don't want them all to be hanging at the same length. So this one's up here, this one's up here. You want them to be hanging at different spots, some variations in them. All right, I'm just gonna go back over any spots that I think need some more flowers. The only thing, can you guys see this okay? The only thing I don't like is over here. I'm gonna make this wider a little bit. I'm gonna cover up some of that blue. I'm just kind of all right. I'm pretty happy with that. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add this swing right here to mine. And for the strings of this swing, I'm gonna use this little brush in black. I'm gonna put just a little bit of, if you put a little bit of water with the black. It helps the paint flow a little better. But you really don't need a lot of the water, just a little bit. And then, let's see, you kind of have to decide where you want to put the swing or where the strings can go. So I'm going to start one string here. And that blue paint is pretty much dry, so it's okay. You don't need the string to be perfectly straight because the string would be moving and whatnot. But you do want it to be pretty close to straight, I guess. All right, I'm gonna go about, 3/4 of the way down the tree trunk. All right, the other string is gonna be somewhere in here. So those flowers are covering it up. So I'm not gonna start this string until down here. And I'm gonna throw a few black lines in. See how I did that? There's just these little dash lines in the pink. That kind of makes it look like through those pink flowers you can still see that string. And then for the swing part, I'm going to start right here on the left. Right at the left string that you just finished, I'm going to draw a little diagonal line. And then I'm going to draw a horizontal line to connect the other string. And that one, we can move that horizontal line a little bit outside the string. And then we're going to make another angled line like this and connect the two with another horizontal line. So we're kind of just making a